Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to my garden, or this is more of a how to grow something video, I guess. I'm going to do a series of these and hopefully we'll build a nice library of growing knowledge. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up as I go here. Today we're going to be talking about Orach. You might know it as red Orach or mountain spinach. I think there's a couple different names for it. It's the Atriplex Hortensis or something like that. Don't quote me on how to say that. I know this is a really great one because it is dual purpose. So if you want to have this one in your vegetable garden, you can have it in your vegetable garden, and you can use it as a cut flower, which is always a double bonus for people like me who like cut flowers. So that's pretty cool. Now this plant is a cool season plant, so that means here in zone 6 I got to do a little bit of creative thinking because my summers get really hot really fast and it ain't gonna work out if I plant it too late. So what I did, I planted some in winter sowing containers. I planted a batch in February, and turns out they germinated near 100% and they did awesome. They transplanted well, all went well. In addition to the winter sowing containers, I also direct sowed them into the garden as soon as my soil could be worked, and the germination rate was wonderful. I did try to plant some of these in the fall to overwinter, and even though they were a little bit cold tolerant, unfortunately they didn't make it. I think it was about either, somewhere around 18 to 21 degrees Fahrenheit, where these were like, nope, too cold, and it didn't work out. So these would definitely do well in the fall garden, but they might not overwinter for you unless maybe you live in a warmer zone than me, or you protect them in some way with frost blankets or plastic. Now, one of the huge, major, big, enormous, amazing reasons that I love Orach is because it's a lot like spinach. I think a lot of people tend to choose this one over spinach. If you've ever grown spinach before, you know probably that it's a little bit tricky to get, the germination rates you want and all that. And then not to mention, once the weather starts to heat up, it bolts immediately. Well, the thing about Orach is that these things, from my experience, readily germinate, and I've had no problems with them. In fact, if you let them go to seed in your garden, chances are you're going to have them for a very long time. So that's something to keep in mind. I personally think it's a good attribute, but if you want more control in your garden, you might want to keep them from going to seed, because these things can definitely do some volunteering. The Orach that you see in this video is the Aurora Mix Orach, and it's a really nice kind of blend of the different colors that are out there. There's this really light green, there's a really dark, deep burgundy, and some of them even kind of like bi-color, like a blend of the two, almost copper, and they really are pretty gorgeous. I know definitely one of the first things that I really enjoyed the first season growing Orach, these are pretty maintenance free for the most part. As long as you keep them watered, you don't have to worry about anything. I've seen very little bug damage, and I've been able to harvest some really nice greens. I think most of the seed packets that I've seen for this says that the days to maturity is about 40 days, so it's kind of on par with, spinach in that way. The plants are really compact and small, and then once they start to bolt and go to seed, they can get pretty big, about 4 to 6 feet high. I've had a couple even higher than that. So they really are something nice to add some vertical interest in your garden too late in the season if you are going to save those seeds. As with most greens, if you see flower buds starting to form, you can kind of pinch those out real quick and get some branching to get more greens before it totally goes to seed. Overall, I think this plant is an absolute great plant for beginners, especially since you don't have to start the seeds indoors. In fact, I wouldn't even start these seeds indoors. When I started them in winter sowing containers outside, they grew so fast, I'm not even sure I would do that. Direct sow into the garden seemed the best way. I'm not quite sure that they need any kind of special cold treatment to germinate, but they did seem to germinate best when the temperatures were cooler, so around the 50 to 60 Fahrenheit degree temperatures. Overall, this one's definitely a keeper, and I'll be keeping it in my garden. And of course, looking forward to growing it again. Hopefully this was somehow helpful, and if it was, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I'm making new videos all the time about random stuff, just gardens, plants, that kind of thing. And I hope y'all are having a real great day. Bye, guys.